What if everything you've been taught about love, relationships, and finding the one is a sinister lie? What if the collective story we've been fed, that true happiness only comes from a partner, that being single is a temporary state of waiting, or, even worse, a mark of failure, is a profound deception designed to keep you from your true power? You've scrolled through endless feeds of perfect couples, been asked countless times, "Why are you still single?" and felt that knowing sense of being left behind. You've been conditioned to believe that your life is incomplete, a draft awaiting its final relational edit. But what if that feeling of incompleteness is a clue, a secret message from your own soul? I'm here to tell you something radically different, something that flies in the face of every romantic comedy, every fairy tale, and every societal expectation. What if your time spent alone is not a punishment, but a sacred pilgrimage? What if the solitude you fear is actually the most fertile ground for your growth? This is not another video telling you how to glow up to find a partner. This is a journey into a deeper, more profound truth. I'm talking about a spiritual and psychological path so powerful, so transformative, that it can only be walked alone. This is about discovering that the soulmate you've been desperately searching for is a shadow, a mirror image of a profound truth hidden inside you. One of the greatest minds in the history of psychology, the revolutionary Carl Jung, didn't just understand this. He mapped it. He saw that the drive to find a partner is often a desperate attempt to complete ourselves from the outside, a futile chase to fill an inner void. But he also left behind a profound secret. The state of being single, when embraced consciously, is not a lack. It is the ultimate form of psychological liberation. It is the one and only time in your life you can embark on the most important relationship of all, the one with your own soul. This isn't about being lonely. It's about being whole. Are you ready to face the deepest parts of yourself and discover the power that's been waiting for you all along? This isn't just another modern self-help trend or a fleeting platitude about self-love. This is a journey into the bedrock of modern psychology, a deep dive guided by one of its most revered and formidable minds, Carl Gustav Jung. Jung wasn't just a therapist. He was a cartographer of the soul, an explorer who mapped the most profound and mysterious landscapes of the human psyche. He brought us concepts that have permeated our consciousness, from the collective unconscious to the powerful archetypes that shape our lives. But his most profound work, the very core of his life's mission, was the concept of individuation. Individuation, in Jungian psychology, is the process by which a person becomes a psychological individual, a separate, indivisible unity or whole. It's the journey of becoming your authentic self, of integrating all the disparate parts of your personality into a cohesive whole. Jung believed this was the ultimate goal of human life, to realize and fulfill your unique potential, to become who you were always meant to be. And here is the radical, uncomfortable truth that Jung understood. For many people, this process of individuation can only be fully realized in a state of solitude. We are taught that relationships are the path to wholeness, that we must find our other half. But Jung would argue that this belief is a dangerous misdirection. Relationships, particularly when entered into from a place of unconscious need, are a constant distraction from the inner work. They serve as a mirror, a place where we project our unhealed parts onto our partner. We expect them to complete us, to fix our broken pieces, and to be a stand-in for the deep internal work we're afraid to do. This is where Jung's concepts of the anima and animus become so critical. Jung saw the anima as the unconscious feminine aspect within a man, and the animus as the unconscious masculine aspect within a woman. These are not just concepts. They are the other half you are searching for. They represent the untapped potential and unintegrated qualities within your own psyche. When you enter a relationship, you are often not connecting with another person's true self, but with the projection of your own anima or animus onto them. You fall in love with a fantasy, a mirror of the part of yourself you have yet to claim. The constant external focus on a partner prevents you from turning inward. It keeps you from facing your own shadow, the parts of yourself you have denied and repressed. You are too busy trying to fix a relationship, navigate conflicts, and fulfill expectations to do the hard, necessary work of confronting your own soul. The solitude of being single, therefore, is not a void to be filled, but a sacred, protected space where you can finally cease the outward search and begin the most important quest of all, the journey inward to meet your own self. It is only when you are truly alone that you can begin to integrate your own anima or animus, to confront your own shadow, and to truly become whole. For your entire life, you've been conditioned to believe a beautiful lie, that somewhere out there, a soulmate exists, a missing piece of your puzzle who will finally make you whole. This is the great romantic myth, the story we tell ourselves to justify our search for external validation. But what if this isn't just a myth? What if it's a profound psychological trap? The common belief is that we need another person to feel complete, that true happiness is a duet, not a solo. But this is the fundamental misunderstanding, the very illusion that keeps you from your power. Jung would argue that this frantic search for a soulmate is not a quest for love, but an act of avoidance. It's an unconscious, desperate effort to escape the deep-seated fear of being alone with yourself. You are not looking for a partner. You are looking for a mirror to reflect the parts of your own psyche you've neglected or denied. You see, the person you are truly looking for isn't living in another house, working in another office, or swiping on a dating app. The person you need to find is already inside you. This brings us back to Jung's powerful concepts of the anima and animus. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are the living, breathing, internalized archetypes of the opposite gender that exist within every one of us. They represent the untapped potential, the unlived life, and the undeveloped qualities you've pushed away. Your soulmate is not an external person. It is your own integrated anima or animus. When you say, "I feel incomplete," you are not missing a person. You are missing a dialogue with your own inner masculine or feminine self. You are trying to find in another person what you have failed to cultivate within your own soul. This is the deeper, more unsettling truth. Most relationships, particularly those entered into from a place of neediness, are nothing more than a shared illusion. They are a space where we unconsciously project our unhealed wounds, our idealized fantasies, and our unresolved inner conflicts onto another human being. You don't see your partner for who they truly are. You see them as the canvas for your own inner turmoil. You expect them to be the hero or heroine who saves you from your own demons, and they, in turn, expect the same from you. This creates a codependent, fragile union that is destined to crumble under the weight of unrealistic expectations. The profound secret of solitude is that it forces you to reclaim these projections. When you are single, there is no one else to project your needs, your fears, or your expectations onto. The mirror is gone. You are left alone with the reflection of your own soul. And while this can be terrifying, it is the only way to heal. The loneliness you feel is not a sign of failure. It is your inner world calling out to you, asking you to finally come home. Embracing the state of being single is the act of saying, "I will no longer search for my wholeness outside of myself. I am ready to do the work to become complete from within." It's a promise to yourself that you are the love you've been looking for. Now we arrive at the most challenging, yet most rewarding part of this journey. The transition from a life of frantic searching to a life of empowered solitude is not easy. It's a process that Jung called the dark night of the soul, and it's a phase most people will do anything to avoid. When you stop chasing external validation and romantic partners, you are left with a void. This void is not a sign of your failure. It's an open door to your own inner world, and what you find there might terrify you. This is where you are forced to confront the shadow. The shadow is the psychological term Jung gave to all the parts of ourselves we have denied, repressed, and pushed into the unconscious. It holds our insecurities, our unhealed traumas, our hidden resentments, and the shameful parts of our personality we'd rather pretend don't exist. In a relationship, it's easy to project your shadow onto your partner. You blame them for your anger, their laziness for your lack of motivation, or their emotional distance for your own fears of intimacy. But when you are alone, the projection ends, the blame game stops, and you are left to face the truth. All of those traits, all of those fears are yours. The terrifying loneliness you feel isn't because you're missing a person. It's because you are finally sitting with all the parts of yourself you have been running from. Jung saw this as a necessary, painful, and ultimately transformative process. He would argue that the only way to become whole is to embrace this internal reckoning. Think of it not as a lonely state of being, but as a deliberate date with your soul. This is the time to sit in the quiet, to listen to the whispers of your subconscious. It is the period where you can finally integrate your anima or animus. You can begin to understand the parts of you that yearn for adventure, your animus, or for creativity and emotional depth, your anima. Instead of seeking these qualities in a partner, you begin to cultivate them within yourself. You become your own source of strength and inspiration. This process is not for the faint of heart. It will be uncomfortable. You will feel the sting of loneliness, the anxiety of the unknown, and the immense weight of facing your own unhealed past. You might even be tempted to jump back into a relationship just to escape the solitude. But Jung's wisdom tells us to stay the course. This pain is not pointless. It is a crucible, a fire that burns away the false self you have built around yourself, the persona you created to please others. It is the only way to get to the core of who you truly are. By integrating your shadow and reclaiming your inner masculine and feminine, you are not just getting to know yourself. You are rebuilding yourself from the ground up, forging a sense of self so strong and so complete that it can never be shaken by external forces. This is the ultimate test, but it is also the ultimate path to true freedom. You have faced the abyss. You have walked through the dark night of the soul. Now, you stand at the peak of your journey, and the view is unlike anything you could have imagined. This is the climax of your solitude, the point of no return where the process of individuation begins to yield its most profound fruits. The person who emerges from this crucible is not the same person who went in. You are no longer a fragmented being desperately seeking a missing piece. You have become a unified whole. The first and most exhilarating result of this transformation is an unshakable sense of psychological liberation. You are no longer dependent on anyone else for your happiness, your validation, or your sense of worth. The neediness that once drove you into relationships is gone. You realize that the external world cannot give you what you have already cultivated from within. You have become your own best friend, your own confidant, and your own greatest source of love and support. Jung would call this becoming your own perfect partner. You have integrated your anima or animus, making you a complete androgynous being in the truest psychological sense. You are no longer searching for an idealized fantasy in others, because you have finally met that fantasy within yourself. This is not a state of cold independence. It is a state of profound self-love and self-possession. You have made yourself your own home. The loneliness you once feared is replaced by a rich internal life. You have a constant dialogue with your subconscious, a connection to your soul, and a sense of purpose that does not rely on a partner's approval. This newfound wholeness transforms not just your solitary life, but every single one of your relationships. Because when you eventually choose to re-enter the world of romance, you will do so from a position of power, not desperation. You are no longer looking for a partner to complete you, but for a partner to share your wholeness with. You will no longer project your unhealed parts onto another person, because you have already done the work. Your relationships will be built on authenticity and genuine connection, not on codependence or shared illusions. You will be able to see your partner for who they truly are, and they, in turn, will be able to see the real you. Your choice to stay single was not a sacrifice. It was a strategic withdrawal. It was a time to gather your psychic resources, to heal your inner wounds, and to build an unshakable foundation for the rest of your life. This is the ultimate affirmation of your power. So, what is the ultimate life-altering lesson we can take from Carl Jung's profound insights on solitude? It is this: your time spent alone is not a punishment. It is a sacred invitation. It is not a sign of failure or lack, but a courageous and deliberate choice to embark on the most important relationship of your life, the one with your own soul. The pain and anxiety you felt from being single were not meaningless. They were a signal, a profound call to a higher level of awareness and a deeper form of self-love. The true journey of a lifetime isn't about finding a partner. It's about becoming a partner to yourself. The deep and meaningful lesson here is about understanding that true happiness does not come from a shared existence, but from a complete one. You do not need to be validated by another person to feel worthy. The concept of a soulmate as an external entity is a beautiful but dangerous illusion that has kept countless people in a state of arrested development, forever searching for a missing piece that only they can provide. Jung's wisdom shows us that the real work is to become your own soulmate, to integrate your anima animus, to face your shadow, and to forge a sense of self so whole that no external force can shake it. This is the promise of solitude. You can build a life filled with purpose, joy, and deep connection, but from a place of radical self-possession. You have the power to step into a relationship not from a position of neediness, but from a position of overflowing love and wholeness. Your journey of being single was not a detour. It was the main path. It was the crucial time when you gathered your psychic resources, healed your inner wounds, and became the most authentic, powerful version of yourself. This is the truth that society has hidden from you. It is a truth that liberates, a truth that empowers, and a truth that sets you free. This is not the end of your journey. It is the true beginning. The path to becoming a sovereign individual is a profound and ongoing one, but it is the most meaningful path you will ever walk. Your awareness is the first and most powerful step toward becoming whole. Now, the real work begins. We've talked about a silent myth, an unseen force, but you are not alone in this journey. There is a community of conscious individuals who are ready to move from being unconscious seekers to deliberate sources of their own power. I want you to be a part of this growing movement. If this video resonated with you, if you felt a flicker of recognition, please leave a comment below and share your story. How has being single been a challenge and an opportunity for you? What part of this message resonated with you the most? Let's start a conversation and build a community of individuals who are ready to embrace their inner work and find true wholeness. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into Jung wisdom and practical strategies for your personal growth, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. The journey to true self-mastery begins now.